early. Welcome back to another episode of Early.
Once again.
Yeah, we got a special guest with us today, Venus Rose.
The one and only.
The one and only, for real.
Nah, for sure.
Appreciate you, Venus, for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Taking some time to chat with us real quick. How are you? How's your day going so far?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, how
sure,
are you both doing today?
I can't complain. You know, it's been a cool day other than the rain or whatnot. What about yourself?
Life has been good lately. Good. You know what I'm saying? I have no complaints. It's crazy because I just kind of been like assessing how the year's gone this far, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's been decent. You know what I'm saying? I got some goals I got to like catch up on, but you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But overall, doing solid. I'm doing solid. Well, how about you? I'm kind of curious to know, like, both of y'all, like, how would y'all assess how the year has gone versus how you wanted it to go at the start of it?
Before, and like, that's a great question. And before that, I just want Venus to actually give some context real quick to our viewers that's watching in terms of like who you are and what you up to in the world. And then we can definitely boom get into that nitty gritty for sure. So just let the listeners know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Venus and Venus Rose on Instagram. I would say, I wear so many hats, but I run a boutique creative agency. So it's called House of Creators, and I work from a creative director, project manager standpoint mostly. However, I also do styling, a lot of different image consulting and public relations, digital marketing. The list goes on. So I actually have to work on this statement because I don't really have like
you're trying to get it down to like an elevator pitch.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a pitch for myself. I think that's a problem. But
I think that's interesting because I fancy myself as somebody that wears a lot of hats too, right?
Yeah.
But I don't I feel like I gotta cater what I'm saying to who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like in an open forum like this, it's probably hard to say all the things that you do and all the things that people know you for. But like if I was having a conversation with Brooke, who I know is a creative, I would just kind of say the creative stuff. If I was having a conversation with somebody who you know what I'm saying, is like in that accounting world, I would just say the finance stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of cater my shit to who I'm talking to. But I feel you in the sense of when you do so many things, you don't want to bombard people with like all the things that you do because it sounds like a run-on sentence or something.
And I think it's like
go ahead.
Go please.
No, I feel like it's kind of like a trend right now. Like when I hear people in networking spaces, like I do this, you know, and I don't really want to sound like that.
It's real shit. I really resonate with that because I've always my term for people when I feel like I just feel like they wear so many hats. I always like to call these people like, that's a Renaissance woman or that's a Renaissance man. It's just like, yo, it's not a matter of me just like, abandoning ship and hopping on. It's like I really feel compelled, or I'm like, I think I really got some input in this lane. So I want to do that. And then once you start wearing these hats, you kind of start seeing how they all kind of link.
How things intertwine.
They're not really separate from each other. They kind of intertwine. And then like, because I'm really even interested in maybe what that aha moment is for you, right? Because like at first, you know, people like to tell a lot of people coming up, you know, oh, jack of all trades, a master of none. But then I'm like, no, you gotta edit that, right? Over time, that's gotten edited. So then like then it'd be like, oh, jack of all trades, master of some. So a couple. But I'm like, nah, like that's the wrong sum. Some like SUM added up like jack of all trades, master of some. Like it's a harder path. So it's way harder to do all these types of things. But if you know how to merge it together, now you got something really powerful on your hands, and now you kind of like a unicorn. Like, but she do this, that, and the third. They just doing that though. So can you explain like how I guess like what like coming up and you're at Norfolk, and I'm like, is it you had one path where you're like, yo, I want to go into digital marketing, or I want to go into like photography, or did you always have I want to do all of this shit? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, in Norfolk, I was like a different person, but not so much different, but I was just into different things. I wouldn't say a different person, but I was focused on different things. I was in a medical program. So I think of Norfolk, I'm thinking about high school because I haven't lived in Norfolk since high school.
Word.
So
yeah, you was gonna go down the medical field when you was young, or you were planning to?
Yeah, so I was in a
That's what this nigga did. This nigga biology.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat.
I feel that. So yeah, so I was in a medical program all of high school, and I secretly wished instead of going to the Eastern Virginia Medical School, I think we used to go like maybe 2 times a week, but so we take a bus. But the same time we were taking the bus, I had to watch the other kids take the bus to the Governor's School of Art, and that's where I really wanted to go. Was Governor's School of Art, but I was falling in line with what I felt, most resonated with a career, and I wasn't exposed to people having creative careers until Tumblr.
Right.
Yeah. So shout out to Tumblr.
That was a game changer in itself, man. Like,
that's what made me leave the South and go to New York immediately.
Right.
Once I got exposed to Tumblr. But I believe I missed a part of the question though. You said in the beginning, what was the question?
Well, it was basically like when. So I mean, you kind of like answered it.
I was like, how you started off.
Okay,
exactly. Right.
Yeah, so I was always like that because as far as like being involved in so many things, because I played 3 sports and then I had a job and I was in like all the clubs, academic clubs and stuff like that.
That was your gear. Like I have to do these different things.
Exactly. I felt like.
What did you feel like you had to or you wanted to?
I did it for the motive of having a great portfolio. For scholarship, because that's
facts. You gotta be well-rounded, they say.
Exactly. Right. And that's what makes your scholarship application, more, you are deemed to be more valuable because I was involved in so much where I was having all these interviews for scholarships. I actually got so much scholarships freshman year of college, but they were just like mouth dropping, like, oh my gosh, like how did you have a job, do all these clubs and play all these sports and still have a 3.6 GPA? So it was like that type. And I knew that was like a winning factor. It's not that I cared to be in these clubs. I was just playing the game.
You were just trying to be competitive.
Nah, but on some real shit, you get that from your folks, or was there anybody that even gave you that perspective? Like, because to be honest, I feel like that's kind of real wise even at the time. Because I know a lot of people, they looking at scholarships, they're like, I'm gonna do this one lane. It's like you got to do a 4.0, nothing else. Like I don't got time for nothing else, or I'm gonna do the sports.
That's how they was at your school. That's how they was at your school.
Not just more so. It's like I feel like
a lot of folks was on some like I got to do everything. I got to be on the yearbook squad. I got to be on the
I was at every club. I tell you.
No, that's lit. No.
What was you saying, Venus?
I said I was in every club.
I felt like that was a lot of kids who were like, my bad. Go ahead.
No problem. No, I was talking over you too.
No, I was just saying that I felt like a lot of people who were like, let's call them overachievers, right? Or those people who did like they were school focused as far as like getting into a college. They from jump was like, I got to be in this, I got to be in that, I got to be in this. And some of the like the athletes were like, okay, like I just play sports, you know what I'm saying? But some of the people who were like really the smartest, intelligent people were like, I need to do like extracurriculars. I need to do clubs and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
You know I feel like I saw a lot of that.
Like for instance, like exactly like for at least like for my school, there was a lot of like, like multi sports. You're doing this sport, you're doing that sport, you're doing all this type of thing. But like SGA, chess club, not that like diverse. It's like, yo, bro, if you even look at the people that are involved in these teams, it's like, yo, bro, you really with the different crowds of the whole school. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like that. Those were anomalies for us.
And I do want to speak to what you said, Venus, about going to New York after you kind of saw the so the Tumblr phase kind of brought out your creativity. I resonate with that so much. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't say like it brought it out because I was always drawing and painting like continuously.
But would you say like you saw a path towards like doing it and like getting it out there?
Yeah, it gave me inspiration that it could be a professional career.
Yeah, I would say like social media did that shit for me. Like that's kind of when I picked up a camera and why I picked up a camera. Like I was like, oh shit, like I could literally, you know what I'm saying? Like shoot a video, take a picture, and put it out for the world, and then get feedback in real time. You know what I'm saying? And then like have people hit me up like, "Oh, come do this for me." You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And I was in school in North Carolina A&T first, so that's where I was looking at Tumblr. So I just transferred to St. John's.
Oh, St. John's. Oh yeah. I have a couple friends that went there.
New York. And that's where I graduated.
That's a good place to be. Well, how was New York for you?
New York was epic. It was a movie.
Oh, so like, it's a good place to be in college for sure.
When you touch down in New York, you ripping and running, like in terms of like content creation, do you already have the idea to, I want to start my own agency? Or is it more so like you just kind of like providing a service or help where you see you can fit? Like niggas is talking about, we need photos. And you're like, I got a camera. I could do photos. And just pull it up and people doing photos. Oh, you need to shoot. I can do that. And then just over time, it's like, I'm doing this for all these motherfuckers. Like I might as well do a little, bring it all under one little creative house. Like how did that process start going about once you touched down New York?
It actually didn't happen at all like that.
Word. See, so how it goes.
So I actually went to New York as a music artist. Wow. And I was creating content for myself as a music artist and learning.
You rapping, you singing, what was you on?
Yeah, both. It was alternative. So I was doing that. I was pursuing that, and
you went by the same name?
Yeah. So I had to get an internship in order to graduate from St. John's. And so once I learned that, I had to force myself to go to the career fair, and they wanted us to dress up. We had to, like, it was like a dress code, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I just went as myself. I wore what I wanted to wear, and I was just looking at all of the stands with all these companies, and I was just like, I don't want to be here. So then I looked up, and this lady like called me over, and then she was just like, "Oh, I can tell you a creative, come with me." So I'm like, okay. So then I followed her to her office, and then she just asked, about what I do. And I told her, about my music aspirations, and I showed her some music videos, and she was like, "Yeah, you don't belong in there." I just had dinner with the content editor of The Source. So here's her social media, hit her up for an internship and tell her I sent you. So that's exactly what I did. And I got an internship at The Source.
Wow.
And so
what time is this?
2016. So having to intern at The Source, I was like, okay, let me figure out how to get into the music industry as a music artist from this angle, from working at The Source. And I actually got turned off once I found out about the music industry.
Wow. See? Yeah, man. Get that insight.
At the same time, all of the productions and photo shoots and video shoots I did for myself, I wanted to do all the popular artists that were coming by. They weren't coming by The Source. I, had to outreach them. I had the help of the Source's publicists at the time who were getting me a lot of talent, or I reaching out to them on social media and just doing everything I did for myself for them. And I was just having fun and still learning the business, still having music aspirations, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm really loving these productions, like doing photo shoots. Like, this is so fun. Right. And I built a lot of connections, and a lot of production people was just blowing me up, trying to be a part of the stuff that I was creating. So I just started just creating a bunch of projects for fun and just putting it on The Source, doing a bunch of photo shoots, putting it on The Source. And then
I let you have full creative direction of what you wanted to do, and you'd be like, "Yo, let me go find the artist, what I'm trying to do." And
I didn't even do none of that. I didn't even explain. I just did the photo shoot and then posted it on my account on The Source. And then the owner, he eventually started seeing the stuff that I was doing secretly, just posting it. So I just like, I can't remember how I got in touch with Chief Keef, but I just hit up his team, and then we did a shoot in New York. Content piece when he came to High Times magazine pop-up. Okay. And it did some numbers. So then the owner saw it, and he was like, "Oh, I see what you've been doing, like, and posting on The Source. And it's doing well." So then he wanted to offer me like a freelance position after graduation. So that's when I worked at The Source for 6 months. And by the end of the 6 months, I did a fashion show where I worked with like a bunch of designers. All the designers that I worked with for myself as a music artist, I brought them to the source to be a part of the street fashion runway show. So it was like all the people that I collaborated with, I wanted to give them opportunity because I had the source, I had the platform. Right. So yeah, so eventually I just started freelancing. You know, after the 6 months at the stores, I just started freelancing and I started doing stuff with All Def Digital, did the A Boogie interview. Karen Civil connected me to Atlantic Records because I used to post content of her artists on the source. So she did me a favor. I wanted to, start shooting art. I had all the digital platforms, so she just did an introduction and set me up with A Boogie's team, and I shot him. And I was just freelancing, just doing freelance PR for like an artist, and just really living like a very free, creative life and lifestyle for a couple months. And then it's like people just started telling me, you move like an agency. Like you have all these creatives, these production people, you're doing this and that. You just need to just become a creative agency. And it's like sounds so scary. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. Like that sounds overwhelming. Like to run a creative agency. So it just got to a point after a while where I needed a business structure with what I was doing, because it was like, okay, I'm really living off of this like as a career. And I'm still doing photo shoots for fun. And I did a Famous Deck shoot for fun. And then it got to Rico Nasty via social media, or her manager. And I was applying to work at labels. So I applied to work at Atlantic Records, and Atlantic called me, and I'm thinking it's for an interview to work, to try to get the Atlantic Records job. And they were like, oh no, we want you to produce the album, Rico Nasty's first album cover. And I was like, oh wow, like, oh, I like what's the the budget? It's like, oh, just send us a budget. And I'm just like, oh wow, like the stuff I was doing for fun, like it's like they have budgets. Like
right.
Okay. Different. So I told my aunt, and my aunt is business owner. She's been in business for a while, and she was like, okay, it's time for you to make an LLC. Like you have to make an LLC. Like this has to be a company now, House of Creators. This collective has to be an agency. So I just talked to her on the phone, and I just registered it as an LLC. And then it was time to work on the Atlantic Records project, and they wrote the check to House of Creators LLC, and boom, there's the agency. And from there, I just started working with a lot of record labels from there, from being recognized from that project, and just industry connections and staying in the industry and telling people, showing people the project, and and other people submitting my names to labels, and there you go. The rest is history.
That's tough. So that feeling of being like scared, like you said you had when you first thought of the idea of starting the company, did that ever like dissipate, or do you kind of still have like, you still kind of feel that sometimes? Like how did that feeling kind of transpire over the years?
I at this point I just laugh at the feeling of fear, because it's like now I'm 7 years doing this full time. So it's just like at this point it's like I know how to swing it if I have to swing it. I know how to make it, I know how to get some projects if I need to get some projects. You know what I'm saying? Like I know how it feels to, be lazy and need creative breaks, and then having to recharge and come harder, maybe a few months later. So like I've just been doing this for a while now, and it's always ups and downs, and it's always an anxious experience because I have to create opportunity for myself. I never been under a company where I was giving directions on what the task I have to accomplish today, and I'm gonna get my check every 2 weeks. It's like every year I am having to spend a massive amount of time creating work for myself. It's like it's like even every month, like every 30 days, it's like, okay, the clients that I have, gotta get some more clients. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very what is the term? Like, I mean, at this to me,
you gotta go hunt what you eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I don't think I could. I think I don't even know if I'm able, like the type of mind that I have, like I have to be involved in so much at once. I don't even know if, and just thinking about like childhood, from like being all playing 3 sports a year, like being in all these clubs, being in this program, that program, I was always involved in so much. I don't know if I can function if I was under someone giving me tasks. I don't think I even have that type of, my brain is not even wired for that.
Right.
Like I have to be on edge like to create. So I think I've learned to embrace like the fear at this stage, because I'm like, that's really what helps me create all of this and create opportunities for others, is having the strength to not know and create through that.
Yeah,
that's real.
It's funny because the reason I had asked that question was because I think a lot of folks feel like before they move forward with something, they're gonna feel prepared, they're gonna feel ready. And
yeah, that's what halts a lot of people from starting stuff. Like I know I've known so many people that just got, I can just think like who had ideas when I started my business and they wanted everything to be perfect. Until this day, nothing never launched.
Yeah, because nothing is ever gonna be perfect.
Exactly. You know, and stuff you know, evolves over time. Like you get better and better at things. And I mean, I can look at my branding from when I first started to branding now, like, you know, like just with logos and stuff, like concepts like that, and decks and media decks that, you know, like, and just quality of work. Like it just, you know, the more experienced you are, it gets better. It's just I think you just have to keep creating and keep putting out, especially in this you know, our generation of content king.
Can you recall a time where like there was a project or a situation or something that you were like, how the fuck am I gonna get through this? And then like looking on the other end of it, you can think like, or you can look back and be like, damn, like, yeah, like I can't believe like I actually did that shit. Like,
oh
yeah, anything come to mind?
Yeah, the most recent would be last summer, the Burner Wood project, because it was just such a hard deadline. It was so much work in terms of having a hard deadline, you know, having to create the ideas, not having direction within a hard deadline. I can't remember the exact deadline, but I know it's like a couple days to get like, so it was like he had a magazine to go with his album, and me and my team, we were creating ads for the magazine and also lyric pages, but with no like real direction at all. Just like, hey, we need this done. And it was like it was just hours and hours of like sending you know, references to the team, and it not getting approved and having to do it, you know, it was just a lot of work. And I was really like feeling at a point like, oh, I don't think they're gonna like anything. Like this is so difficult.
Right.
They don't, but it's like also in the aspect of me thinking they're not gonna like anything. They also didn't know what they wanted. So it was it was like a lot of trial and error of like creating all this content for them to figure out amongst the massive content what they actually wanted. So that was very stressful and strenuous, but we finished, we completed it. It actually turned out really great, but it was just like, you know, that's very hard when you're creating something for a brand and they don't really have an idea of what they want.
It's interesting, like the people that aren't really the creative folks, it's hard for them to describe what they want to see. What they can do is just be like yes or no when they see it, but they can't tell you like what they're trying to see. All they can do is be like, okay, when I see it, I know whether it's a yes or it's a no, but I can't tell you how to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that a lot, Brooke, like with doing videos for folks and stuff. Like people like, I want to shoot this, I want it to feel like that, you know what I'm saying? But they can't describe it, or they don't know how to use their words. And this is not a knock on them either. It's like it's hard to describe. Like I know when I'm putting stuff together creatively, I think I told you before, like I had to, it's funny because I started off making music like you did. Like I got to videography and photography because I couldn't describe to people what I wanted my videos to look like. I just had to make them. You know what I'm saying? I had to do my own trial and error. And then in that, I got good at doing it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I also couldn't describe what I was looking for when I'm working with other videographers and stuff like that. I could just be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't really what I was looking for, but I'll pay you for your time. And then just go and do it myself. but that took, you know, trial and error, like you said.
And I'm also, you know, interested in like one thing that we always like love to like get into people's perspective on is how they go about outsourcing, right? So, you know, when the work start flowing in, can you talk about how important it is to actually have people to like rely upon, or know that, yo, I know if I have like this editing job, I could go ahead and get this person to do it. If I have this type of, and it's kind of like you have like this presence around everything. Like I'm everywhere at once because I'm able to get people to get things done, as opposed to feeling like, oh, I have to be at every single shoot. Or do you feel like you, to this day, maybe do you still have to be at every shoot, or do you outsource? How do you go about like what's your workflow when it comes to that?
Yeah, no, I've never you know, been at every single shoot, even in the beginning of my career. I've always had production people in almost every major city. So I've done a lot of virtual projects, and I've done a lot of projects where I've, you know, may have landed somewhere and wanted to create, and I could hit up in a creative who would find a bunch of creatives, and yeah, we could do projects from there. I have a lot of experiences like that. Just I have a crazy network. It's pretty ridiculous. So I've never had any issues with getting any type of production. I'm always you know, working on a lot of the projects virtually, honestly.
Is that your personality? Have you always been like, are you like an outgoing, kind of like talkative, talk to everybody you see when you're outside
I'm definitely not, but when it comes to business,
I'm just curious because I feel like that's
I'm not at all. No, I've never been that person. Like if you ask anybody that knew me in high school, they probably would say I barely talk to anybody.
So like imagine okay, like say I need some advice. I'm coming to you for some advice, right? I'm like a young up and coming creator, and I'm trying to build a network, but I'm, you know, like you said, I'm like shy, or I'm not saying that you're shy, but like I'm not like talkative. I don't, when I'm out and about, I'm not really live.
I'm not talkative either.
I'm not saying you are, so I'm saying like give me what should I be doing when I'm outside like that? Like should I just go up to somebody and be like, hey, you want to work, and then take their number? Like what should I do?
I really don't really know, because everyone's experience is unique. Like I never was a loud person, or you know, a heavy, I'm not, I still to this day don't really go up to people. I've always attracted people in terms of like networking, and I know it was like certain hairstyles or certain accessories, or a lot of times it would be off my style. You know, people would come like, oh, I like your style, and that's how we would get into conversation. So but I think really what it is just you know, really showing up as yourself, and you just attract. And whoever you really are. I'm really not an I mean, I'm outspoken, you know, internally with my close people, but I'm not like the person that comes into the room and I'm the loudest and I'm trying to talk to everybody. I'm not that person at all. Like I've never been that person. You know, I've attracted a lot of people just off of my work speaking for itself, people finding me. Like I never even looked really like for a production team. Like a lot of people, I was just creating with people that I was connected with, and the work attracted other people and they wanted to be a part because they like the concepts, like the ideas. And if I'm at an industry networking event, I typically, or like a lot of friends introduce people to me. Like a lot of my friends are you know, really proud of my work and stuff, and they're always sharing my work with people. And say if I come into a room, they may be talking about me right next to me to the person. Like I have such amazing friends, like such an amazing network. But yes, I'm saying everyone's situation is different. It's just all about staying true to yourself. What was true to me was I'm pretty much an introvert, but I like fashion and I like art, and I express that in my style, which tends to attract people.
Now something you said earlier with the story about being at the job fair, and then
like I was
just coming up to you, be like, follow me, and then giving you that source opportunity.
That was so amazing.
As you were saying that, no, as you were saying that, I'm like, damn, like that is crazy. Like that's a crazy story of like serendipity. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. Like even in a moment, that's what was kept. Moments like that will keep motivating me through. Because I'm saying like 7 years in now, like, you know, that is some time. Like those moments is what kept me, because I was like, it's definitely has been times where I felt tired, but then it's just like, you know, I eventually you know, eventually get into gratitude over time and get out of that mood. But it's like those moments are like a reminder, like these things happen for a reason. Like you have got to keep going because stuff like that do not just happen. You know, like it's people that was fighting for internships, probably, you know what I'm saying? Like probably never got into the company they wanted to get into. And it was just that opportunity, like it was so effortless and it was so impactful. Like it gave me all the insight, it gave me the connections, it helped me get really into the music industry. And I don't feel like I pressured anything. Like it was just like a breath of fresh air, just peaceful. And then I go and get into the source and it's like 8 people. I'm not at no big 300, complex type of corporation. I'm really sitting next to the owner of the Source magazine. Like
the Source is
the
small.
biggest,
it's like a small operation. I mean,
yeah, like and I think it's more virtual now. But I was really in the office, and I used to sit right next to the owner, like next to the content editor, like they were my mentors. Like it was such a blessing, and I really think that's where I got my business savvy side from. Is being able to sit right next to the owner and interact with him and learn so much from him and watch him conduct business.
Yeah, that's invaluable experience, right? What is something that you like saw him do day in day out that you like that stuck with you?
I mean, he was just really for the culture. Like, he was really for the culture. Like, even with the content he would approve, he was very, very strict on what he would approve to post and promote during that time. Like he really cared about, just having a platform and your voice and what you're teaching to the future generations and what you're contributing to the hip hop culture entirely. Like he was a very authentic person when it came to that.
So now, talk about a little transition. What made you go ahead and like go over into AI and then feel that you wanted to make a platform that you've done with AI sector, because that I'm not going to necessarily even say that's a hard left turn, because to be honest, AI is kind of like integrating itself in kind of every facet, every industry. So it's actually really relevant in, you can make an argument in terms of what it is that you do, but what was it that you're like, yo, I actually want to make a platform dedicated to, just like the latest trends and the news cycles that's in AI?
Well, I needed something new to create because I feel like I've been a content creator for a while, and I used to promote this series called Style Sector. And that's when I started at the Source, where I interviewed a lot of rappers. I brought Cardi B and Playboy Cardi and Rich the Kid, Famous Dex, a bunch of artists on the platform, interviewed them about their personal style. This was back in 2016. And then 2019-ish, I got the partnership with Hot 97, where I brought the show back on. And that's when I had, at the time, a Sauce Waka. It was a bunch of other artists. I can't even remember. The Baby and stuff like that. But then the pandemic hit, and I really didn't evolve with the whole pandemic experience as far as creating virtual content. I didn't get into that. I actually took a break from content creation. But once, outside was back open, I just been meditating on something new, like just being unfulfilled with the state of content. All the content series is just, I feel like it's, a lot of repetitive series, a lot of repetitive stuff going on. Everyone's doing the same thing. And I just spent probably like another year like frustrated with content until last summer. I already got into the tech space during the pandemic with the NFTs and Web3 stuff. So I already been into that and involved in that and creating digital assets and stuff like that. So last summer I really just started to see all this AI hype, which we've been using AI. I mean, I remember I used Animoto video editor back in 6th grade to create videos. It was AI, to generate videos for me, but it's a big bubble right now. but yeah, I thought like I don't think there's a creative perspective right now with all this technology advancement. It's a lot of tech perspectives. So I just wanted to create a platform. It just kind of clicked. I'm just like something for creatives. Like all these creatives are so afraid online of like being forgotten or being displaced with the AI era. So I want to create a space, you know, to educate and inform and also connect these creatives in these tech spaces and tech spaces with the real creatives, you know. So
Right.
it's a continuous evolution with this because it's still like a new brand and officially launched in April with the launch party in New York that I did at Station 3, the Web3 Tech Hub. It was a great turnout, and yeah, the next digital magazine drops at the end of this month, and we will have another event coming soon. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm just always thinking about, evolution.
Right.
Yeah, no, I do remember the like the NFT and like Web3 space,
Uh-huh.
like the boom amongst artists and creative people in that like 2020 time. I think
Right.
we've talked about it on this show because like when we reference like Clubhouse and stuff like that, and there
Yeah,
was
I
so
remember
much
Clubhouse.
excitement. You said what?
Right.
What did you say?
I remember Clubhouse.
Yeah, like I feel like we was just talking about it last week or something, but or on our last episode, but fucking I remember with like artists and stuff like that, there was such excitement about like what NFTs are going to be and all this type of stuff. And I do still think we're like on that path towards getting there, but with the rise of like AI, it's interesting to see how now people feel like with like how AI can like create all these like pictures and all these pieces of art and all these videos and create songs. Like it literally like AI can be creative now. You know what I'm saying? Now creators are kind of starting to like worry in the same way that like I don't know if it was engineers or not engineers, but like maybe like when self-driving cars started to be a big talk and people were like, oh, like drivers are gonna lose their job. You know what I'm saying? It's like creative folks, and I'm curious to see what you think from your vantage point, but it seems like creative folks are starting to now be like, oh well, like that's not real art, and like I don't know, like you know what I'm saying? It's like they have the same worries that they were kind of putting on other industries like 3-4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, people, I think the more people view AI as a tool as opposed to like replacing
and that's
them,
what I'm
it'll be
saying.
better.
Yeah.
And if anything, you're gonna be replaced by people that use
it. So like use it to make your art. Yeah, like use it to advance your art.
There's no cool points, bro, for like, no, I don't use AI. Like, bro, use shit, bro.
It's like using a pencil. It's like using a typewriter instead of like typing on a computer or some shit.
To me, and it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Like that's the most valuable assets you have. And we're talking about the way you can expedite your workflows.
Yeah.
Is like unmatched.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why not do that? Or like even view it as your own virtual assistant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that chat.
I'm not gonna hold you. Like I remember maybe like 2 years ago, definitely like at the top of this year and a little bit like last year, Adobe started like incorporating
like auto captions and stuff.
Not even just that, but like kind of like auto podcast editing features.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know how you would describe it, but it basically cuts down the time of editing a podcast to like minutes as opposed to what used to be like hours. You know what I'm saying?
Out the dead space,
yeah. Like it'll do it
right.
on its own. You know what I'm saying? And like say we wanted to edit this podcast right here and somebody said something, or somebody wanted, like say we look back and we're like, oh, like I wish I would have said this. You can go and add something that you didn't say. Or if I wanted to say like, oh, Venus meant to say this, without you even like saying it, we could get you to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's doing all kinds of crazy shit. And I remember thinking like, damn, like my first thought was like, damn, this is gonna make it so much easier for me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like worried like, oh, like I'm gonna be out of a gig. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this is gonna make my life so much easier. 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Perspective thing.
And but the thing is, to your point, like you do gotta like learn how to use it, because it's not just like, oh, like put in the inputs and then it spits out perfect. Like you gotta tweak stuff, you gotta try stuff, you know what I'm saying? But as these things start to advance, like what it was, you know, a year and a half ago, it looks much better now, but it still does need tweaking, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the sooner you kind of like integrate this stuff into your workflow and into your life, even, I feel like the better, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, for sure,
we are in a society where people are kind of like scared of changes and they're worried about like what it means to them.
Man, cash up, slip up, man. I don't know.
From your perspective, like how could you see AI being used in from like a creative directing standpoint, like a marketing standpoint? Like how do you think about using it in your current workflow, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I use it all the time, every day. It's great. It's great in PR. ChatGPT helps structure press releases. It's excellent in PR. You know, even with just like proposals and stuff for clients. You know, help organize that. Yeah, you have to definitely edit it. You definitely have to overread it because sometimes it'll give you old information or incorrect information. But it helps speed up those like, you know, those processes. I mean, AI is amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it's a blessing for sure.
Like, you know, and I think it's all about perception with everything in life. You know, it's just a part of evolution. It's inevitable. We used to ride horses, then we started driving cars. You know, it's yeah. So it's like I just think I would just want to view it like that, and I know that it's a lot of opportunity with AI. To me, it's like resetting the opportunity. I would say resetting the moment in which, you know, how they started civilization in America with the 40 acres and a mule. So let's see what you build. You know, you get 40 acres and a mule. Let's see what you build. And a lot of there were many people. I wouldn't say a lot because I think the mass, you know, the 10% is, you know, a very small percentage. But those wealthy companies, I think they all started like, you know, maybe with some land in America, and they built corporations from there. I feel like the digital space and the AI space is another opportunity. Like this is an opportunity for people to really create, because we don't really know. So take control over the narrative. That's how I look at it. Take control over the narrative.
So start a platform.
That's facts. Like but like you said, I agree with you in the sense that I feel like it is a big reset for like building value. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody knows what, and a lot of people are like frantic. I don't know what to do. Oh no. So okay, give them something to do.
Yeah. Nah, facts. I even think that's kind of like the whole premise of like why crypto is a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a complete reset of the value exchange. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like just like how the crazy thing is, just how we know a lot of people within our own lives that are already still slow to even using the internet as it is, still slow to using Google, or still like, yo, how do I use this? They're just like, the next phase of the internet is coming now. Like with this AI.
The next phase of the internet is here. What's crazy?
And it's like, and one thing is, I'm like, you know, that gap, and like that's why it's so clutch that you have that platform, because it's like that gap doesn't have to be there. Let's show people exactly tangible ways to like, yo, you have a Gmail account, right? You can use ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a matter of just knowing what you can access, you know what I'm saying, or what is at your disposal.
And do you think at this point people still aren't aware?
To be honest, bro, you'd be surprised.
I know people that have never used ChatGPT.
There's a lot of people be like, what is that? To this day.
I talked to somebody last week, the VP of marketing at Atlantic Records, and she never used ChatGPT.
But even if you ain't used ChatGPT, like you can't go into Google and type something in without it giving you an AI response today.
At this point,
today you ask a question to Google, it'll say AI generated response. You know what I'm saying? Like, do y'all be seeing that, or is that just me?
I feel like.
So maybe it's not chat. Maybe it's not chat, but like you're using AI.
I think but for sure. But the wow factor to AI is when you start being intentional with it. So I don't think you're somebody like that would realize, like, if I'm just searching something in Google and they're like, here's your AI generated response, you're realizing the significance of that.
Yeah.
Like, you can ask it something of a how-to type of question.
Yeah.
And it can give you a play-by-play. And I don't think they're like using it on that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's still more so to just find something out real quick.
Yeah. True. What can folks, you know what I'm saying, expect out of you for the rest of this year? I had said earlier on, let's take it all the way back to the original question that I asked both of y'all. If you look at how like the year's panned out up to this point, we're in August, you know what I'm saying? How would you say it's panned out up to this point, you know, against what you wanted it to look like? And then, you know, how can you use, or how will y'all use these last like what 3-4 months to kind of you know what I'm saying, finish the year strong?
I mean,
you start with you, Venus.
I didn't have no plan for this year, and I don't have a plan.
I can think that.
I don't.
You say you what?
So are you happy? So, but are you happy with where you've been at with the
year so like, yes, I am. Yeah.
That's a go with the flow kind of vibe. I can dig it for sure.
Yeah,
you strike me as somebody that's productive anyway. So you're not like oh, like I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like my last year was shit. I gotta do this to make it better.
If you
like,
put the work in, you can afford
like
to
every
move
day is
like
lit.
that though. Like,
No, that's
you
right.
don't cheat the process. It's like, yo, I'm good. Like, I'm
good.
Honestly,
what I'm really doing is testing a lot of workflows and seeing what makes me most productive, and let's see with the goals that I have, how quick I can accelerate to them with these new workflows. So I've been listening to a lot of productivity audiobooks and utilizing a lot of different elements that I'm learning, because they say it's like little small changes that make the greatest impact. So it's like getting tasks done every 30 minutes, timing myself every 30 minutes, getting up at 6 a.m., getting out the gym by 7 a.m., like starting earlier in the day, stuff like that.
Facts.
Yeah.
What about you, bro?
I'm happy with what I've been able to accomplish with the years so far. Little, couple curveballs here and there, but all in all, been able to capitalize on things that came my way. And go make sure to finish it strong. It's not over. So
facts.
That's the one thing. Gonna stay in the present and make sure finish this year strong. But it's a good year. I feel like you guys can all resonate. I feel like with this shit that we always growing our brands and we keep on pushing with what we got. It's kind of like a snowball avalanche. Like it's building. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is steady building, and it's like nothing is ever abandoned ship. I'm like, people be like, yo, what you want? I'm like, yo, I'm on that same shit, but
I'm also on this
more side missions, that I might not be vocal about, doing some other things too, but we just building on the foundation, on top of the foundation for you know what I'm saying? So that's all this year's really been about, and will be about for sure.
Yeah, that's facts.
But yo, Venus, tell people where they can tap in with you. You know what I'm saying? If they're not already familiar on the socials or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Venus Rose on all platforms, and House of Creators on all platforms. HAUS, House of Creators, and then AI Sector is AI.sector on Instagram.
Word.
Yep.
Places. That's great. And again, appreciate you for coming on,
for sure,
chatting with us, and definitely looking forward to seeing, what I'm saying, the things that you continue to do.
I appreciate that so much. Thanks so much for having me.
Early.